All right, good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock, and we're going to get started on time. Welcome to our second meeting of the month, our evening meeting, and it is the 23rd of June, 2014. And now, if you will join me by standing, we're going to have our prayer and Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for each person that has come tonight to join together with us in this meeting. And we just turn the meeting over to you now and just ask that you preside over us and that you give us wisdom, guidance, direction, that each one be able to provide input to help us make these decisions. Father, we're grateful for this community, and we just pray for this community, Lord, for each person who lives within the boundaries of Titus County. We thank you for those that serve so faithfully in this county and our law enforcement and our fire departments. We pray for those who serve us overseas as well, Lord, in our armed forces, and we ask for their safe return. We just pray for a smooth meeting. We pray for everyone's safe return home tonight. We ask it all in Christ's name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are those two mics on? Yeah. Okay. Item number 1, public comments and or requests for information on non-agenda items in accordance with Section 551.042 of the Texas Open Meetings Act. I've got a couple of requests here. Roy Tillman will be first. Roy, if you'll come on up to the podium, please, sir. The podium is yours. All right.
Gentlemen, I'm Roy Tillman, and I'm with Nortex Volunteer Fire Department. The reason I'm here tonight is I just kind of wanted to give y'all some information about our recent ISO inspection of our fire department. The early part of this year, the Nortex Fire Department and the Tri-Lakes Fire Department, they had an inspection by the ISO organization, which rates fire departments for they rate us so that they can determine fire insurance rates for the citizens in our district. We went through about a 2-day inspection. ISO scores are a 1 to 10, with a 1 being the very best fire department that you can ever have, and 10 being no fire department there, or one that hadn't been graded. So we came up with a 7, and that allows the citizens of our district to get some pretty substantial fire insurance decreases in the premium. Tri-Lakes came up with a 6, which is a little bit better, and they get just a little bit more. We joined Sugar Hill, Talco, just about every fire department in the county has now been inspected, and we're finally starting to see some progress in driving down some insurance costs. So really, I just wanted to give y'all some information about that you could look over, and but most of all, probably what I wanted to say tonight to you guys is thank y'all for your support down through the years. We couldn't be the volunteer fire departments that we are without county support, and y'all have faithfully supported us through the years, and we're finally starting to see some financial benefit from that. So people in our districts are starting to get cost cuts on their insurance, and so the money y'all have invested is really kind of coming full circle now and helping our citizens, and that's all I wanted to say, just to let y'all know about that and help us to get the word out.
Excellent. Thank you very much, and we appreciate this report, and we appreciate what you do. This court may toss a little bit of money your way now and then, but let's face it, the real efforts come from you guys and those that work within your departments and the citizens that support you through the fundraisers. and this is excellent news, and it is progress, and once again, congratulations to you all, and thank you for coming tonight. All right, my second speaker, Ms. Naramore, it's your turn. If you'd like to come up to the podium, please.
Well, I want to speak about Winfield's Fire Department. I was unaware until yesterday when a friend of mine came by and said that they were moving things out of our fire department. And I found out today that the fire department had closed, it was disbanded. And I guess I want to know more about that, because if they've had meetings in the past, which I'm sure they have, no one was ever notified about when the meetings were that I'm aware of. Now, I know that I'm not on the fire department, but I am on the auxiliary. And Jake was on the fire department for 35 years, and for some reason I kind of think that I am supposed to have a little bit of news, you know. But anyway, and what the topic was that I heard today was about an old safe, and it's extremely heavy. And when Jake was postmaster, before he got the new building, he got this old safe from Omaha Bank, and I'm telling you, it's huge. When he got the new building and the new safe, he gave that to the city. As the city improved, they got their own safe, and the mayor at that time said, we have got to get rid of the safe. And I said, well, I think we ought to talk to Jake about that, you know, because it was him to begin with. Okay, so Jake naturally could not move it. But one of the firemen moved it from the city hall to the fire department. And that's where it is now. And what I was told today was that there was some controversy about some tables and chairs that's been moved out, some fire trucks that may be going to different, or going to go to different departments, and about the safe.
Okay, details about that safe I don't know anything about. I too was given some late Friday afternoon information there, which basically was, we're going to have a meeting Friday night, and I'll let you know something Monday morning about the status of the Winfield Fire Department. So unfortunately, nobody on this court knew much in advance of you. I was going to discuss this at the end of the meeting. Since you have brought it up, I will go ahead and read this rather than waiting. But again, as far as that safe goes, I don't know anything about that.
They did send an email to the city.
They did?
But
Okay.
the city has nothing to do with our fire department.
Okay.
And my question is, since the building is there, why is the safe not going to be allowed to stay in that building? Lord knows I can't put it in my house, you know. I'm talking about this as a monstrous thing.
Okay.
So that's my question.
Well, I don't know the answer. Does anyone else on this court know the answer to that?
Another thing is that since we have heard that they disbanded, some of us, as I said, I'm not a fireman, but some of us have planned to get folders typed up, or flyers, I should say, typed up, and take around to the different houses and tell everybody if they're interested in keeping the fire department going, they need to come to a meeting at a certain time. But, you know.
That'd be a good idea. I do know Thursday night there's going to be a chiefs meeting here at the Mount Pleasant Station, just one of their regular meetings. I'm sure that this will be a topic of discussion. But you're welcome to go ahead and sit down. But let me go ahead and read this. I received this today via email. This is from the Winfield Fire Department. Winfield Special Called Meeting Minutes, dated June 20th, 2014. Meeting called to order at 6:37 by Chief Jerry Ward. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the status of the Winfield Fire Department. Members present: Jerry Ward, Wesley Sargent, Colin Clasby, Virginia Vargas, and Jerry Babson. Under new business, motion was made by Wesley Sargent to disband the Winfield Fire Department. Motion seconded by Jerry Babson, vote taken and passed unanimously. Effective this date, the Winfield Fire Department ceases to exist and will no longer be responding to any calls for emergency. Motion was made by Wesley Sargent to donate the Winfield brush number 82 to Tri-Lakes Volunteer Fire Department, with the promise that Tri-Lakes will donate brush 41 to another department once brush 81 is placed in service at Tri-Lakes. Second by Colin Clasby. Motion passed unanimously. Motion by Colin Clasby to reimburse Jerry Babson, Virginia Vargas, $300 for labor for maintenance made on the building. Second by Wesley Sargent, passed unanimously. Motion by Jerry Babson to reimburse Jerry Ward, Wesley Sargent, and Colin Clasby $300 for labor on building and equipment. Second by Virginia Vargas, vote taken and passed unanimously. Miscellaneous item, tanker 87 will be returned to the Texas Forestry Service via TFS Representative Nathan Carroll. These are the official and binding minutes for all intents and purposes and shall be considered accurate and true. Signed 20th June 2014 by Chief Jerry Ward and Secretary Colin Clasby. That's about as much as I know. Again, Chief's meeting will be this week, Thursday. Do I have my date right? Is that right, gentlemen? And what time will that be?
About 6:30.
About 6:30 here at the main fire station, north end or south end? Here in
South end.
the south station. Okay. All right. That's as much as I know right now. This is not good news, obviously. Perhaps this will be discussed and maybe some ideas will be generated at that Chiefs meeting. If there's anybody that wants a copy of those minutes, I've got some extras. All right, we will move on to item number 2, consider and possibly approve minutes from the June 9th regular meeting of Commissioners Court.
There's other minutes, and I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton, second by Commissioner Hockaday to approve our first of the month regular meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3, consider and possibly approve minutes from June 16th, a special meeting of the Commissioners Court. That was 1 week after that regular meeting. That was a special meeting to take care of 2 items.
Make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fields,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hockaday. All in favor of approval of those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item number 4, status update for Titus County pass-through projects. Here's our loop report. First topic will be contract administration on US 271. All payrolls have been received through the end of May. PTP has processed the pay estimate for Williams Brothers. They've been paid through May 25th. FM 1000, PTP, let's see, James Construction has paid PTP through April 25th, and PTP has forwarded copies of all pay estimates to TxDOT as of the last pay estimate. Certified payrolls received up through May of 2014. Under the construction topic on US 271, this is our Williams Brothers project, the large portion of the loop. $71,907,000 paid to date, 95.55%, and this percentage does include the force account. 663 days on the original contract, 104-day contract extension, bringing that total to 767 days. They have charged 751 of those 767 through June 20th for 97.91%. 16 days remaining on that. Regarding the work on the bridge that was too short, the contractor continues to work on this, the force account. All bridge beams are back in place, scheduled to start tying steel and forming the deck on Monday the 23rd today. The concrete and base on the north header has been removed, and they are currently hauling in the embankment for raising that grade. As of June 17th, the amount billed towards the force account was approximately $1.49 million. That's of a projected $1.8 million. Other non-bridge related items, the slip form paving crew returned and they've completed all the concrete paving on the project except for the force account paving on the header. Williams Brothers is currently pouring the entire remaining concrete riprap on the project. Southwest Environmental is seeding all areas. The rail crew is scheduled for this week to start pouring the remaining concrete rail. Jesse Kangura, the vice president at Williams Brothers, stated at the last coordination meeting they are on schedule to have 271 open to the public before Labor Day weekend. FM 4000, James Construction Group, $11,134,000 paid to date, 58.83%. 383 days contract time, and they have used 298 of those 383 days. That's 77.81, and there are 85 days remaining on that contract. They have switched traffic on FM 1735 and 2348 this past Tuesday and have begun working in Phase 2 of the construction. They switched traffic on US 271 and FM 1000 intersections. The dirt crew continues to excavate and haul embankment. They are scheduled to resume placement of fly ash and lime as of today. The bridge crew has completed the pouring of the decks on the Hart Creek and are scheduled to start forming and pouring the bridge rail. That's the bridge there at Preferts going over the railroad track. The bridge crew has also set all concrete girders on the bridge there at the Union Pacific Railroad. The paving crew has completed 90% of the paving for Phase 1 at the intersection of FM 1000 and 271. That's down there by Tractor Supply. They'll return for Phase 2 in mid-July. The retaining wall crew continues to place cement stabilized sand and panels for the retaining walls at UPRR. Again, that is where the bridge crosses over Union Pacific Railroad and lands on the Prefert property. The retaining wall panels on the west side are about 90% complete, and the panels on the east side are about 20% complete. The above percentages are just on the panels. There's still additional work that has to be done to call the retaining walls complete. The contractor has been hauling in sand in 2 10-hour shifts for the past couple of weeks, and production has increased. We still have our fears of being done in time, but they at least have delivered some of the additional labor and hours that they had promised to us. Anyone have anything to report from the meetings you've attended this week?
We didn't have one this week. We had this
No meeting last week. Have one?
We have it this week.
Okay, have a meeting this week. Any other comments? All right, moving on to item number 5, open and review bids and possibly approve for air conditioning repair and maintenance, a 2-year contract. We tabled this from the last meeting and asked for an additional option on our HVAC maintenance. What have you got today? Just as a reminder, we had asked for bids in the form of hourly rates and material discounts, overtime rates, and definition of the regular service hours. We have given a detailed list to each one that was interested in providing us with a bid, and we decided to go back and ask for a fixed price bid. I don't know that this will yield any better results financially, but I wanted to see, and so I asked the 3 firms that had given us their initial bid if we were, and I said, would you be willing to give us a fixed price, again, just for semi-annual maintenance on all the units in the county. Every possible air conditioning unit we could think of is on this list. And again, we're not asking for a fixed price that covers any and all repairs that might ever come up. We're asking simply for a fixed price on regular, routine, what I call tune-up maintenance twice a year, spring and the fall, to make sure that we're ready for the summer and that we're ready for the fall. If there are any repairs that are needed between those times or at that repair tune-up visit, then that would be over and above this. So again, it's hard to guess what it's going to cost you when you're given nothing but an hourly rate. yet that's how we have been functioning for years. I wanted to see what a fixed rate would cost the county, and so I'm hoping I've got 3 of those here. Okay, here's one from Wood, one from Roberts, and I'm assuming this one is from Thompson. I'm going to start with Thompson. Okay, and this appears to be a repeat of only the hourly maintenance, and this is from Thompson, and they have provided a bid that is simply a $59 diagnostic fee. That is per call, not per unit, a $58 per hour regular hourly rate, and a $60 per hour overtime rate, a material discount rate of 25%. Fixed annual fee for semi-annual, okay, I was wrong, here it is. Fixed annual fee for semi-annual HVAC tune-up maintenance as requested, $125 per system. So that would be, again, if we decided to pay a fixed price and not an hourly price for that regular twice-a-year maintenance. So $125 per system, and then those other figures would apply to work that was done over and above that. Next is Roberts. Okay, to go back over the hourly rates, et cetera, we have an hourly rate of $60, a material discount of 20%, overtime rate of $80 on after-hour calls. 2 checkouts with filters per system per year, 51 systems, yields a $3,060 annual charge. So I'm going to have to, I don't have any calculator here with me. I'll have to do the math here. Carl, you got something there?
How many units?
If we have 51 systems, and we're going to do those twice per year. Thank you. $3,060 annual divided by 51 systems divided by 2. Well, that doesn't seem to be right. Bear with me while I try to understand what he's telling me. 2 checkouts with filters per system per year. So I suppose he's saying,
$6 a unit.
well, that's what I'm coming up with. That would be $30 per system each time they came out and did their check, if I'm understanding that correctly. 2 checkouts with filters per system per year for an annual price of $3,060. And if I take $3,060, divide it by 51 systems, that's $60 per year. And if we're doing that twice a year, that's $30 per system. So let me read back over the fine print. Service calls, $60, includes half-hour labor to diagnose. If several units are needed to be serviced, there will only be 1 service call. Basically, we offer the same contract that we've been working under, no price changes. Most of the county's air conditioning units are new, and most are still covered by some compressor warranties, which we will continue to fulfill. So again, I don't know how else to interpret this other than he is saying for $3,060, he will service all 51 systems twice a year.
$58. $58 or something.
Well, actually, it's $30 per system times 2 for twice a year. Now, that compares thus far with Thompson's bid of $125 per system. Now, that's a year also, so that's $62, $62.50 compared to $30. Okay, this is from Wood Air Conditioning, and I think Jeff's out there in the audience if we have any questions for Jeff. This is a 2-year agreement. Jeff, make sure I'm expressing this correctly. You've bid $22,500 on a 2-year agreement. So if I took 22,500 divided by 2, there's my annual figure of $11,250. Comparing that to Robert's annual price of $3,060. Jeff, anything I'm missing there? Okay. All right, there you go, folks. And just to put it on a per system basis, if that'll help. Got about $110 per service call or per tune-up, one in the spring, so about $220 a year for each unit. Okay, the per year, which includes, again, 2 services, spring and fall, we're comparing $220 Wood Air Conditioning, about $62.50.
Would be about 110 a year.
Wait a minute, wait.
If he does that a year, I'll do it 2 years.
Well, let me double check that.
Wood, 110,
22,500.
116 for Robert.
That's your 2-year. That covers a 24-month period. So if I took that and I divided that by 24 months, that's $937. Well, and I really need to divide that by the number of units, though, don't I? $11,250 a year divided by 51 units is $220 per year, about $110 per. Okay, so $110 per visit compared to $62.50 per visit with Thompson compared to $30 per visit with Roberts. Any additional information that you would like to have before you make this decision? What we have asked for this year, just to remind you, I added this to the bid process. The contractor will be required to prepare and complete a standardized ongoing checklist for each unit, identifying the unit by location, building, floor, etc., and turn in final copies to the business manager within 1 week of performing the services. So we've given them a long list of what we'd like to have done in the spring and in the fall. That will have to be documented so that we know each one of those units is being serviced, and then any service work that's done over and above these twice per year visits will be documented as well.
I'd like to make a motion to go for lowest bid for Robert's Refrigeration.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Hinton,
Second.
second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of awarding this bid?
What was the motion?
Okay, to award the bid to Roberts Air Conditioning, which was the low bid.
I must, his 116, his would be 116.
No, let me go over it. Let me go over it again for you.
Huh?
Would you like to know what the annual price is? How about or would you like to know the per unit price? Roberts was considerably lower than either of the other two. It was less than half of the next highest bid, because he bid $3,060 per year for those 51 units.
That wouldn't be $116 per unit?
No, sir. $3,060. That's an annual fee.
Divided by 51,
Divided by 51.
it's $58. You twice 58 is at $116.
It's $60, actually.
Well, okay, $60.
That's per year. In other words, that's 2 visits on each unit for $60. Or $30 for the spring.
30/60, not 30/60 a year, 30/60 for 2 years.
No, sir, that's a per year price. That's a 12-month price, $3,060. I want you to be
I'm not sure.
in agreement.
30/60, if you take woods at $22.50 a year, that's $110.
No, it's not $22.50. It's $22,500 for 24 months. It was $11,250 for 1 year.
Oh, okay, $22,000.
$22,500. That was a full 2 years. We got to cut that in half to compare apples and apples.
Okay.
So $11,250 versus $3,060.
I had $2,250.
Okay, I follow you. Any other questions before we call the vote?
I don't have it.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion, which is to accept the bid from Roberts Refrigeration, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Jeff, thank you very much for, I know you spent a lot of time on this bid. You were up here crawling in every attic and closet and building that we have, and we learned a lot just from your being here. I'm sorry that you weren't the successful bidder, but I appreciate all the effort you put into this, because I know you were here a lot. Okay.
Mr. Thompson there too. Mr. Thompson there too.
Oh, you right there. Why didn't you go like this or something like this? Steve, is there anything that I misquoted as I was reading on this?
Are you considering the repair separately?
Yes. On all these. Is that what you had intended? In other words, if it was serviced, it had nothing to do with that spring or fall tune-up period.
You're going to talk about that separately, the service. Award that separately.
No, we're awarding, right now, all we're awarding here, well, that's included in that, but the bulk of this cost would come, and he brings up a good point, if we want to think about this for just a moment. The point that he's bringing up is, are we going to, anybody that does the semi-annual service, do you want that same person to be the one who does your repair and maintenance in between those spring and fall tune-ups? That was the intention here. And Steve is asking, is that separate? In other words, would you consider having 2 different companies working on your equipment?
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I thought it was all on the same.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, well, you had, that's what I started with. That is what I started with. Let me go ahead for your benefit. I'll read over those. On your bid, I've got a $59 diagnostic fee. That's per call, not per unit, $58 regular hourly rate, and a $60 overtime rate, and a 25% material discount. And then your fixed annual fee for each unit, $125, which would be 2 visits or about $62.50 per service, spring and fall. And then on the Roberts bid, his hourly rate was $60. His overtime rate was $80, and his material discount was $20. So in that respect, you compared favorably with a $2 less per hour regular hourly rate and 5% additional discount on the materials. Okay. Do you wish to do anything different in light of what I've just brought to your attention? Okay, it's still twice the service, the semi-annual service is still twice the cost. But there is some slight advantage here with your non-regular work. Okay. I'm going to assume that you're going to accept that price along with the fixed price if there's anything to be done over and above the fixed prices. Steve, thank you for being here. I didn't see you here, but I know in order to come up with these numbers, you had to spend a good bit of time since you're not the one who regularly works up here, and I appreciate you doing that for us. Okay?
Appreciate y'all bidding.
All right, let me set this aside, give it to Carolyn. All right, we'll move on to item number 6, open and review bids and possibly approve for landscape maintenance. We tabled this from the last meeting. Did you get any new bids on this? No. He was the one that had bid last time. Okay, that's Fly Ash, Jackson. Okay, so the only one related to yard work was submitted by Nick Lewis, as far as you know. Okay. And just as a reminder, Mr. Lewis had only given us a price on the mowing the last time, and he had previously bid $36 per mowing of all 4 locations. And I did call him. I did verify what he had told us, $36 for all 4 locations or $9 per location. That included the extension office, the main courthouse, the JP office, and the Riddle Street building. But he did not include in there any price to do work such as trimming shrubs, cleaning beds, etc. It only included, according to my conversation with him, mowing and edging. So
Mowing and edging?
Mowing and edging and weed eating at all of those. Nick has been back here in town a little over a year. He's got local family here, and he has provided several references that we did check. Okay, this bid is dated the 20th of June, Nicholas Lewis. We've asked for him to come back to us and give us a full service price to do beds, shrubs, etc. And his yearly bid amount based on monthly $595 per month includes a one-time mulching at needed areas. So, I was wondering if this was going to happen once Mr. Lewis thought about his $36 a week bid. Is Mr. Lewis here by chance? No? Yeah, and I'm going to call, how do I get back to your... $7,140. How do I get back to your... Okay. You wouldn't happen to have that from last week, would you? Well, if we mowed once a week at $36, we're talking about $150 roughly. And so that $150 a month for just mowing the yard, which is the main thing, has now jumped up to $595, including a one-time mulching. So I guess I'm a little disappointed that the price has jumped up that much after we had our conversation to clarify his $36 per mowing for all 4 locations. And again, I don't know how often we mow around here, but I don't think it's more than once a week. And so therefore, $36 times 4 would be $150, and now that's jumped up to $595. We did not get another bid from Stanley's, but Stanley said their price was not going to change. And as a reminder, their monthly amount was bid at $760, and they indicated to James that they were not going to change their bid. So you have $760 compared to $595. But again, a little asterisk on that, reminding you that we had a bid last meeting of $36, I'll call it per week. Really, it was just $36 every time he mowed. So during the non-mowing season, that price might have even been less. So I can't explain to you all the reasons why Mr. Lewis's bid has gone up so much, but I imagine he had a chance to think about what he had done and realized he had bid it too low. So in light of that, I'd like for you to consider the fact that at the first meeting, Mr. Lewis had not provided a full bid based on the details that we were asking for.
Judge, last time we opened bids, Stanley's bid was read aloud. And that, to me, to be fair with all parties, and I know you hate to go back out and rebid everything and give everybody an opportunity to rebid it again, but the price was known, and then we gave him the benefit of the doubt to go back and look at him, and I think he realized he had made a mistake on this bid. I think to be fair with all parties involved, we just continue to use who we're using for right now, and let's just rebid the whole thing to be fair with everybody. Because his Stanley's price was quoted at the last court meeting, so it was public record. And I just think we need to rebid it to be fair with everybody.
And what would you expect that to do for? I'm not arguing, I'm just saying, what are we trying to accomplish here? Now they're both going to know what the bids are. Stanley's has already said, that's the best that I can do. And did we have a second bid presented based on him given a chance to provide a complete bid, which he did not provide the first time?
One of the things that always bothered me was Stanley gets up here, it'll be snowing almost. December, November, you don't need to mow every week. And so that's the only fault. Stanley does a good job, except that there's several months that we don't need to be paying the $790. That fee.
Well, I know that sometimes he's up here and the mowing becomes a leaf removal rather than mowing. It does keep the grounds looking very nice, but you're right, the grass certainly is not growing during that time of the year, but he is picking up. He does quite a few other things besides just mow, and that includes mowing the winter weeds, sucking up the leaves, picking up trash that's in the beds and trash that's in the sidewalks and in the yard area. So he does have, I'm not sure that he's up here on a weekly basis, but he is providing a service beyond what just the mowing does.
I think he does a good job. I just sometimes...
Does their bid not include the whole year, whatever their bid was?
It does. It does.
That means we're not paying.
But he bills us by the month, so I'm sure he's losing money in the summer and he's probably making some money in the winter, but he just evens it out for us, rather than us paying him a one lump sum on an annual basis. I tell you, I'm all in favor of giving low bids to low bidders, but in this case, I'm just a little bit bothered that this price has gone up when we inquired to say, tell me exactly what your bid means, and there's no way that we could have just accepted Stanley's bid at the last time, and he's the one that gave the complete bid, or you can say that Mr. Lewis just didn't understand what all of our terms were, but neither did he inquire.
Well, I think we said the lowest bidder. I think we ought to go with this guy. Like I said, there's some chances, but look what Columbus did.
All right, you want to put that in the form of a motion?
I'll put that in front of the
Okay,
motion.
Commissioner Riddle's motion is to go with Nick Lewis at a monthly cost of $595 per month. Second by Commissioner Hinton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No.
No.
In this situation, I'm going to have to say no as well. And again, it's simply, I have nothing against Mr. Lewis. I love to try new people. He got good references, and I believe that this person would probably do a fine job. But I am a little bit disappointed that the original bid was not exactly what was asked for, and in order to get clarification, we've given the bidder opportunity to go, you know what, I think I'll get a little closer to that other bid. And I just don't think that it's fair. So I want to be sure that we go about this the right way. So I'm voting no, which doesn't necessarily mean I'm ready to give Stanley's the bid, but I'm just voting no on this particular motion.
Let me say this, and I think either one of these would do a good job. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying when we bid it out, we had a kind of a guide, and there was undoubtedly a misunderstanding on Mr. Lewis's part. And had we not opened the Stanley bid, then we would definitely, there's no doubt about it, we'd take the low bid. But since it was open and we gave him an opportunity to come back and readjust his prices, because he undoubtedly he did not understand all of the things he had to do as the yard maintenance person. So to be fair for everybody, not just these two, but anybody that wants to bid it can, and we'll come back and reopen it, and if bid the same thing, then that's fine. But I think to be fair, we've got to rebid this for everybody to have the opportunity.
Well, and you say that he didn't understand. That may be, but I don't know whose fault that was. He had been given an opportunity to look at the different locations, so he knew where the different locations were. He visited each location. So assuming that mowing and edging and weed eating was all that was required, he gave us an extremely low bid. Problem was, we want a little more service than that. And had we said, okay, we're going to take your bid, we could have turned around and said, okay, now we want a second bid on doing everything but the mowing. And we would have ended up substantially less than this $595 a month. So I think as a bare minimum, we should rebid this, and I'll sit down with either or both of these gentlemen and be sure we're all clear and in agreement. But at the same time, you've got Stanley's who has said, I'm giving you the best I can give you, and we have a newcomer who's trying to get that bid and add to his new business. So we had a failed motion the first time, 3-2, nay. And so do you have another motion you'd like to put forth?
I'm going to make a motion, we go with Stanley on the yard work.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Hockaday to go with Stanley's.
You know what Field says about Stanley. We opened his. Now he knows it, so it's not quite fair. Same thing applies to this guy. Now we've opened his again at $595. So
Yeah,
just
you're
turn it
right.
around. Say it about
You're
him.
right.
It's the same thing. You're saying it one way. You can't go both ways. I mean, you got to be the same with both people.
I'm not going both ways. I'm looking at the process and thinking.
Well, first of all, we've got a motion on the floor here to accept Stanley's bid at $760 per month.
It's $2,400 a year.
As far as I'm concerned, Mr. Stanley was given the bid specs. He went by them, and the other one wasn't right. We gave him an opportunity to correct it. That's really not fair to Mr. Stanley, and I'll second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. What was your vote, Commissioner? Nay. Okay. Well, that one has failed also. I'm going to make a motion that we rebid these, and in my discussion with Mr. Lewis, I'm going to say, we're expecting you to really sharpen that pencil because you got us all excited about $36 to mow 4 locations, and we feel like we might not still be getting that good of a bid from you.
I second it.
All right, motion and a second by Commissioner Riddle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we unanimous this time? All right, I'll go back to the drawing board with both these gentlemen.
Probably need to have a motion to discontinue the contract. That's going to be July before you're going to make a decision. Contract is. So you probably need a motion to, while you're reconsidering the bids, continue to pay something under the old contract.
Because we won't be able to vote on this unless we won't be able to vote on it until the next meeting, and that's 3 weeks from now. Can we make that motion here, even though it's not on the agenda?
It's part of
this? All right, I'm going to make a motion that we make an agreement with Stanley to pay him at his same monthly rate, and in fact, why don't we continue it through the month of July? So I'll make the motion that we continue working with Stanley's at his current rate. Did he go up on his bid over last year? I think that he might have gone up slightly. Give him that option. Okay.
second.
All right. Motion second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of extending Stanley at the current year's rate through July 31. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you. Item number 7, open and review bids and possibly approve for Type A flex base ash. That'll be Ken Guthrie with Fly Ash Direct. Is that right? Is that the one and only one we're expecting?
Welch.
Well, that's not the name of the company. It says
It's somebody else. Yeah, that's a different company now.
Fly Ash Direct has taken over for who? Boral? Luminant? This is Lafarge. This is from the Welsh plant. Okay, Fly Ash Direct is pleased to provide a quote for conditioned Class C fly ash under the following terms. $7 per ton FOB. Price quoted good per material availability. Price quoted will be honored upon acceptance within 30 days.
I make a motion, we accept it.
How does that compare to what we're paying now?
That's exactly what we're paying.
Paying.
He went up when they bought it.
Motion by Commissioner Riddle, second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of accepting this one bid from Fly Ash Direct at $7 per ton, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 8, open and review bids possibly approved for plastic culverts. I have one bid here from Holmes Concrete and Pipe. Is that who bid the last time on plastic as well? We weren't expecting any others on plastic, but they didn't provide a bid. Or this time.
So we didn't get one?
And if you want to write these down again, my guess is they'll probably, do you happen to have last time's bid? I'll just run through these. We'll compare them to the bid they provided last time. This is on a price per square foot based upon the diameter. 12-inch, $6. And this is identical prices to what we received prior to our last meeting. 12-inch, $6, 15-inch, $7.75, 18 inches, $10.45, 24 inches, $16.75, 30-inch, $24.90, 36-inch, $30 even, 42-inch, $41 even, 48-inch, $50.05, and 60-inch, $85.65. And that is an exact match of his last bid. Sole bidder both times. Motion by Commissioner Hinton to accept the Holmes Concrete and Pipe Company bids for plastic culvert. Was there a second? Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 9, open and review bids and possibly approve for fuel. I have one bid from Jackson Oil. Is that all we have? Okay, he has quoted this on a profit per gallon. And I'm not sure how he has done that in the past. Same way? Okay. And on every product that he provides here, 9 cents per gallon profit. The any other information may be added below. He has added to this 9 cents, and that, again, that includes all quantities: on-road diesel, off-road diesel, unleaded, and super unleaded. The county jail generator is such a small volume delivery, but requires 2 men to prevent any overfills. A flat charge of $125 will be assessed to this location. You ever had that before, Sheriff?
Well, yeah, because I don't think it's another, no, they did this, yeah. I'm trying to think back to see.
It is something we've done in the past. Yes, okay.
I'm not sure if he's the ones delivered this.
Okay. How much does that hold? Oh, okay. It's
I think so. This might run quite a while.
so it's $125 over and above the cost of the fuel. No.
It's just flat cost, rack price, plus the 125.
I still don't understand. It's $125 over and above the cost of the fuel.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's like a surcharge on top of the fuel because you're having to deliver it with 2 men.
Well, I've got one man behind the generator watching, so we don't overfill the tank. And the other man is behind the pop, they'll turn the switch on.
Okay. And there's really no other way to do it other than have you come and fill it. We're not going to haul fuel down there in cans or anything. All right, 9 cents per gallon. Profit on everything. Motion by Commissioner Fields to accept, and second by Commissioner Hinton. All those in favor under these terms here, again with the $125 surcharge on the county jail generator. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And there are none. Thank you very much for your bid and your continued service. Item number 10, consider and possibly approve allowing senior citizen services to conduct a garage sale at the Senior Meal Center. I'm removing this, or I'm going to ask you to table this. With the changeover here recently, apparently somebody stepped up and called me about this that was not authorized to do so. They don't know if they're even going to have a garage sale, so no point in considering this until we know some more details on having a garage sale at the Senior Citizens Meal Center. So I will ask for a motion to table that.
Make that motion.
Thanks, y'all. All in favor, or who was that? Motion by Commissioner Hinton, second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of tabling that item, say aye.
Aye.
All right, item number 11 is consider and possibly approve a plan to revise the Caddo Trace subdivision. Let me get my notes here. Okay, we talked about this at the last meeting. Mike Edwards came and spoke, and we wanted to be sure that we did this the correct way. And so John Mark Coburn and Paul Lindsay were good enough to review this diligently. They spent a good bit of time to make sure we were going to do this right. There was a Attorney General's opinion on this, and it is the conclusion that we can do this, but we've got to go through some specific procedures. And essentially, John Mark Coburn has put together a notice that will go in the legal section of the paper. Have a copy of that, or do I have it in here? Okay, this is it I'm looking at. I thought it was longer. Here's what it says. Notice to property owners of Caddo Trace Estates subdivision in the Commissioners Court of Titus County, Texas. Notice is hereby given that the Titus County Commissioners Court plans to vote and possibly approve the rescission of lots 1 through 7 in the subdivision known as the Caddo Trace Estates, volume 1830, page 143, Titus County deed records on such and such date at such and such a.m. or p.m. All property owners wishing to object to said amendment are required to present such objection to the undersigned within time and manner prescribed by law. And those notices will go to John Mark Coburn. We are required to run this a total of 3 times within a 30-day period. We can begin that this weekend's section. We can run it 3 weekends in a row and still meet the requirements for the last ad running at least 7 days before the vote, which I would propose we take that vote at the evening meeting in July. We will also send out a letter, a certified mail, registered certified, that will go to each and every property owner in that subdivision. Most of the lots are still owned within the Edwards family. It looks like there's maybe 10 or 12 lots that have been purchased, and most have homes built on those. And we have those records from the appraisal district, and we will notify each one of those landowners with their own specific letter explaining to them what is going on, and John Mark Coburn will draft that letter as well. So we'll give them a notice in the legals, which chances are they would never see it, so we're going to back it up with a certified letter going to each one. Once we do that, we can then vote on that motion, feeling confident that we've notified anybody that could be affected. And although we think that they'll be pleased with this decision, we certainly want to be sure. So that is my recommendation, but I want you to give me approval to move forward on that.
Make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Hockaday, second by Commissioner Hinton. This will be, again, planned to move forward on that revision on the Caddo Trace subdivision as requested by Mike Edwards. All those in favor of that plan, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number 12, consider and possibly take action on the commencement of county transportation infrastructure grant projects. We have received official notice from TxDOT and from Buddy Williams at the Atlanta District that we may proceed with our projects. Thank you all for being patient while we waited on that. I think we were one of the first counties to get approval according to Buddy, and so we are ready to go. So I'm here to tell you, you may begin. If you have any questions on how to submit your bills so that we are insured of getting reimbursement, please visit with Carl or Christy. We have all kinds of information at your disposal, but we want to be able to bill them as much as we possibly can within the parameters of the estimates that you've provided on these projects previously. But again, you are now authorized to move forward on those. That doesn't mean you have to begin immediately, but you know what you want to get done. So again, no real action here. I've asked for action, but I'll go ahead and make a motion that we commence work according to your appropriate time frame on these infrastructure grant projects.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hinton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
One item, I'm pretty sure everybody knows how to do this, but you're going to have to keep detailed records for workers and obviously
Materials and workers, yes.
the hours worked, who worked on it, the equipment, how many hours they worked at.
You got the forms?
Sure. Yeah. We'll work on that together.
You know,
Do you-
TxDOT gave me what they have. They have an hourly rate for equipment, each piece of equipment, dump truck, the whole thing.
We're supposed to go by FEMA rates, aren't we?
Those rates?
FEMA rates.
FEMA.
I've got some.
FEMA.
FEMA rates.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But TxDOT,
We used this dump truck on this job 2 hours, and this guy drove in 2 hours, and all that have to match up, because with all the records there, get me back.
Do you want to see that information on a weekly, every 2 weeks? What would be appropriate, rather than wait until the tail end?
No, they have to do this, we have to have it as they do it, we have to fill out the reports and send them in for reimbursement. We're not spending money up front.
Yeah, that's right. The quicker we submit those reports, the quicker we get paid back. But we do have to spend the money up front. All right, item number 13, consider and possibly take action regarding the continued use of the Senior Meal Center by Senior Citizen Services of Texarkana, Inc., as well as NETO and ATCOG. We've got 3 different activities going on over there, and at one time here, just real recently, all 3 of those were under NETO. Is that right, Beverly? So we did not have the allocation issues that we're dealing with now as to who's going to pay the utilities and who's going to pay the repair and maintenance. It all fell under NETO, and they took care of those. Well, now we've got 3 different tenants, as if you will, which will include Senior Citizen Services providing the meals, ATCOG providing services related to transportation, and NETO providing services related to, what do you all call that, utility assistance? Energy assistance, okay. And so you all will occupy a small office there. ATCOG will occupy a bigger area there for their transportation-related activities, and then Senior Citizen Services will occupy the bulk of that building, providing meals, whether it be coordination and delivery of those meals or ultimately the actual cooking of those meals. So I promised you that we would get together some figures here related to utility bills, and Beverly sent me some utility bills, and we followed up with SWEPCO and the City of Mount Pleasant to try to get some actual averages. Let's look here first of all at SWEPCO. If you look there in the top right corner, you will see bills that range from a low of $321 to a high of $505, and it looks like the median SWEPCO electricity bill appears to me to be in the low 400s. 458, 490, 350, 321, 322, 323, 426, up to as high as 505 in September, 470 in August, 487 in July. So during the months that you would expect for it to be high, running the air conditioner, it's higher. It's not so much higher during the winter months, though. Looking over there at City of Mount Pleasant, which provides water and trash pickup, $267 a month average. That includes a $169 dumpster fee. So that was a fairly large dumpster there. I was wondering if we needed a dumpster of that size. Beverly indicated that they do need a dumpster there. You know, unloading all the food does require a dumpster probably to take care of all that. You're certainly not going to fit that amount of trash into those roll-away dumpsters. Whether you'd need a dumpster of that size, I don't know, but $169 a month is not that much when it comes to dumpsters from my experience. And again, that includes water, trash, sewer, and a 4-yard dumpster. So that's not one of the really big ones. That's just a rather small dumpster. So that takes care of those items. Center Point, you can see there, looks like it's going to average somewhere in the $100 a month range for your gas bill. So there's electricity, gas, water, sewer, trash. Now, what we've got to decide is who's going to pay for that? Are we going to allocate these utilities? I certainly think it would be ridiculous to have to allocate each and every individual bill, but then maybe we could, as opposed to a flat monthly fee going to each of these entities. And again, all these expenses were previously borne by NETO.
One thing that when they start cooking, the meal outfit's going to use up most of the electricity at that time, I expect. I don't know, or gas. The people, they'll use most of it. The other people are not going to use very much. They're going to use most of these utilities. And now they're just bringing them in and distributing them, but later they're going to start cooking. The lady said by July, maybe? July, August?
By mid-July was what they were hoping.
They'll start cooking, and so I'm sure they'll have a staff over there working number of hours, and so I should...
Well, and the hours that there's going to be somebody in that half of the building will increase. Right now, it's just from about 10 to 2, and that could eventually go to, 8 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the evening, so there will be something going on. You'll have to run that air conditioner and have the lights on over in that side of the building. We've got some interested citizens that want to be over there in the morning.
Must be my wife.
And then you've got the other entities. Beverly, how long each day will you be in that small office for your 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday? Okay.
Don't they have some assistance on utilities?
No.
The
utility assistance that we pay is a program that comes from the state, and it's to help low-income and mainly elderly people with the high utility bills through the summer and the coldest times. It's not, it's to pay out.
Yeah, to clarify, that energy assistance program has nothing to do with funds provided to NETO or to Senior Citizen Services to help them pay their utilities on that building. That is a program where they give money out to local residents that need help with their individual electricity bills.
When we were doing bills, Judge, we used to just kind of build it into our unit rate, but the state has put a cap on that unit rate for the last 7 years. So,
But you're going to get it.
Wiggle room in that unit rate on what she's going to be doing bills for.
But will you continue to get some assistance with utilities for your office?
Nobody pays for our office utilities. Nobody does. What we do is we help the elderly pay for their utility bills during a financial crisis. In other words, if someone has to choose between running their air conditioner or buying their medicine, which a lot of them do, help them with their utility bills.
I think what Commissioner Riddle is asking is, did NETO receive additional monies to help you pay for the utilities on that building? It's just you get a lump sum based on meals that you're serving.
And if the utilities keep going up, the state rate stays the same.
And of course, you heard the lady from Senior Citizen Services, asking for ideally they don't have to pay any utilities or a small percentage, 10 or 25%. Well, I'm seeing at least $800 a month here to cover the utilities that I've mentioned here. They'll take care of their telephone. And again, this doesn't cover repair and maintenance should those items come up. So the question is, how much of this burden does the county want to bear to keep this meal center going? Previously, you weren't bearing any of this burden. We have...
in the budget to pay someone, Carl.
Well, I don't have a line item set up in the budget. If y'all vote to start spending the money, I'm assuming before the new year starts, we'll have to do a budget. We'll have to pull it out and fund balance, so it'll be an emergency budget provision.
All of these entities are funded by somebody, state, they all get money from somewhere else.
Somebody else has been paying these bills.
Yeah.
Now. I think the ladies are just telling you, it's getting harder and harder for us to do it, and if you could help us, we would like some help from y'all if you could help us out. I don't know what words about it. I don't know that they're telling you that they won't have the facility in use if you don't pay anything. They're just asking for help from the county. Any help you can give them will obviously be helpful.
What are you thinking?
As far as maintenance and upkeep of the building, that's our building, and we've always maintained it and kept it up.
We're going to have to mow the grass, do all of that stuff, and keep it up, fix the air conditioners. We're going to have to do that.
But we do that.
We pay for all that, right? We pay for that. We're going to pay for that, continue. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't really know. I just hate to put the county in a more expense. The taxpayers coming up with it. But on the other hand, I don't mind helping. But so it's a.
What kind of percentage would you like to see recouped? Beverly, would you say it's fair assumption that the meals activity would occupy 60% of that building?
At least.
Maybe a little more? Okay.
And you can allocate, if you want us each to pay something out of each program towards this, we could allocate it by square feet of space that we occupy, because that's the way we allocate ours in Mount Vernon. We're cooking in Mount Vernon, and we've got offices, well, that's the way we are able to do that. So that way, the ETO can pay a little bit, towards our space, and the transportation can pay a little bit according to their space, and even, but you're going to have the meals get the bulk of the cost there. That's a state acceptable way to do the cost allocation. Like if the county wants to do part, we want us to match it, that we can match it out by doing that.
Keep in mind we provide a rent-free building to begin with. And although I haven't measured the square footage, if we said NETO will occupy 10% of the building and transportation would occupy 30% and meals would occupy 60%, just rough estimates. And here you're talking about $800 a month. You've heard the ladies from Senior Citizen Services say they sure would like to not have to pay, their full share on those utilities.
Is there any way, you're with ATOG or NETO? And the judge was from the transportation. Now, are those trucks going to be parked over there?
No, Beverly with NETO will just be responsible for the energy assistance program, roughly 10% square footage wise in that building.
Okay.
So if we were to ask her to pay her 10%, for example, we'd be asking her for, say, $80 a month,
Right.
if that was an accurate representation of her square footage. Our Architects Council of Governments, let's say they occupied 30%, there'd be a $240 allocation going to them.
I understand.
And then 60%, you'd be looking at nearly $500 that you would be asking senior citizens services for. Whether or not they could handle that, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to say, sorry, that's too expensive, we're closing this down, or they just wouldn't like it. I don't know what the answer is.
I understand that. But the transportation part, the guy was here from Sulphur Springs.
Well, that was Judge Chris Brown, who is now former judge of Sulphur Springs,
Right.
Hopkins County, who is now the head of our Council of Governments out of Texarkana.
Right. So anyway, how much are they going to use? Are they going to park those vehicles over there?
No, they've got the maintenance operation over there across from Hudson Old's old office there on, what street is that, Hut? 6th Street, on the south side of 6th Street to the east there of North Jefferson.
But he said something about the drivers hanging out over there.
Okay, that's where they stay. So they're using parking lots, using us for a parking lot as well. I didn't even know that. They don't leave them over there at the maintenance shed. Okay.
And they're there in the morning, they get all their paperwork, and do their maintenance checks on the buses, and then they come back there in the afternoon and fill out their paperwork.
Okay.
They have ability to get some assistance also, I believe, so them a little more.
Maybe so.
40%.
Maybe so.
40 for the meal. I mean, I don't know. We could just wait and see how they come out after they moved in, and then make that decision, maybe, huh?
And as many years as I've been in, I think under some judge, some point, I think we've been up here before and talked about this, which is not possible at that time for Titus County to build us on the utilities and stuff. Now, I don't know, since that time, I know we have come here before and asked for help also. I understand where she's coming from, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But
Well, somehow, some way, you managed to pay it. Whether or not we can expect senior citizen services to somehow get it paid, I don't know. Well, I think we've got enough utility history here. We can make a pretty good projection of what it's going to cost us each month. I just need y'all to decide how you want to allocate it. How much of this tab, if any, is the county willing to take on of that $800 per month? Let's start with that and see what's left.
Do you think you might could talk with them and negotiate, or kind of see where they're coming from, what they could do and what they couldn't do?
I've had that discussion, and they have told me that they really, quote, can't afford more than about 25% of the bills on that building.
Some meals.
Now, again, does that mean we'll go out of business and we'll shut the doors if it's any more, or it just burdensome for them? I don't know the answer, but 25% is the figure that she said they really, beyond that, they're not comfortable with.
You're saying the bills run about $800 a month?
Based on the actuals that we've got here, yes, sir. Don't throw anything else on me. Come on. But you're right. I mean, there's probably other things out there that we're not thinking of right now.
It's a requirement to have monthly exterminated.
I want to say that Beverly and I work, I mean, we don't talk very often, but the services that they provide complement Titus County Cares. And we have the same situation where we are, where the county owns the building, although we pay for it. And so good for them. When they don't have any money, which they do run out of money also, they send people to us. They help feed people. We feed a whole lot more people, but we're still feeding people and feeding people in need. So, I'd love for y'all to help us too, but right now, I think it's important to help them with whatever you can.
Well, let's go over the things we are paying for. We pay for a building. We provide a building. We pay for the lawn care on it. We pay for repair and maintenance as those items come up. And on an older building, those do come up from time to time. We've got Terminix apparently that's needed there from time to time. We've got Vent-A-Hood just that need to be cleaned when they're cooking. What other miscellaneous items? Of course, they're going to have a phone bill. We're not paying that phone bill. So we do provide, we're already making a pretty substantial contribution to the cause. So let's try to, I would suggest that we continue to pay, well, not continue. Did you used to pay for the lawn maintenance, or you all did the lawn maintenance yourself? Okay, well.
Judge, why don't we table this till next meeting? Let's look over this, try to figure out in our mind what we want to do.
Okay.
And I'll make that into a motion.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Hockaday and second by Commissioner Fields to table this item. And just remember, before I call for the vote, approximately the dollars we're talking about. By the time you lump in there the lawn care and the termite, you're probably at around $900 a month. How much of that $900 are you willing to pay for? Then we'll allocate the rest. So that's kind of your charge over the next 3 weeks, is to be thinking about what, if any, you're now willing to pay for that you weren't paying for before. And once we can define that, I think allocating that balance will come a little easier. All right, all in favor of tabling that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain. I don't.
Okay, item no, sir. I'm
Abstain. I'm not going to vote. I don't want to vote on that. I have a.
Why would you? How can you abstain?
I have a problem with that. I mean, we're talking about charitable things, and I have a. If we don't, if people, everybody complains about the people not working because they can get welfare, get food stamps. Why don't they work? I mean, the more we give, the more they'll take. So we're putting that burden on our taxpayers every time we want to give away county money, and I don't
think there's anybody here that'll argue with that. My question is, on what basis would you abstain from this vote, other than it's a tough vote?
I don't want to vote. I can't. I don't want. I'd like to see people get help too, but I think we should see if they can't help themselves. As you say, we're paying a pretty good shot at. We don't give Titus County Cares anything. They pay for it. How many?
It's a
how
tough
many
vote.
people-
There's
how many
no doubt.
people
It's a
can
tough
we
vote.
Take care of the taxpayers. I mean,
Well,
we just keep piling.
You still
it
got to
on.
make a call. Are you going to take the taxpayers' money and give it to these folks, or are you going to tell these folks, no, sorry, we can't help you? One way or another, we've got to make that call.
I say no.
Okay, we'll table that until the next meeting. That'll be 3 weeks from now. Item 14, consider and possibly approve travel and seminars for county employees and elected officials. Let me give that nice neat package back to you. I've got the first item here from Sheriff Ingram, is requesting to attend the Sheriff's Association 136th Annual Training Conference in San Antonio, July 26th through the 29th, or $250 registration cost. No meals. You brown bagging? What are you going to do? That's included. Okay. $149 a night for the hotel for 4 nights, taking your personal vehicle and claiming miles on 782 miles, about $1,283.92 estimated cost for the sheriff. This is mandatory training. Item number 2, sheriff requests to send Ginger Brown, Goldie Fail, Dorinda Orr, and Sam Matus to Violence Against Women Conference at the Omni Hotel in San Antonio. This is optional training on the 28th, 9th, and 30th of July. No registration costs. We do have the usual per diem costs at $40 per day times 4 days, 20, 27, 28, 29, 30th. I think one of those days would be a travel day, would be at a half day rather than the full 120. It looks like it'd be, no, you've only asked for it on 3 days. My mistake.
Still think we'll try today.
We'll pay him for a travel day. So instead of 120 times 4 people, looks like it'd be $140. We've got a $130 motel room times 2, so we've got 2 ladies sharing a room, and then we're taking a county vehicle plus fuel. Looks like for all 4, a total cost of $740. If we adjusted that per diem, it looks like it would be about $820. That's to send the 4 women from Sheriff's Office to Violence Against Women Conference. And then lastly, I've got our civil clerk, Charity Jeffrey, working for Judge Dyke, going to the clerk seminar for the Justice Court in Rockwall, Texas. We have the $100 registration that has already been paid because that was already requested. We've got training dates of 9th, 10th, and 11th of July. Again, this is in Rockwall. 2.5 days of, or no, excuse me. She's asked for, Carl, what's our ruling here on in Rockwall? We are staying over there in the hotel, I guess, on 2 nights. So she's got 40, 40, and 20, so that's appropriate. Taking a personal vehicle, claiming 208 miles. Total cost of training, $352.08, in addition to the $100 registration that's already been paid. Those are the 3 items that are requested here on your travel and seminars.
Make a motion, we approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fields. Second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number 15, approve oral and written reports. Give me those phones back.
Motion to approve the written reports.
Motion by Commissioner Hockaday and second by Commissioner Hinton. All those in favor of approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All passes. Item number 16, consider possibly approve treasurer's report. Motion by Commissioner Hinton. Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And there are none. If I could get your signatures on this. Item number 17, approve budget amendments.
Judge, we had three, 38, 39, 40. They're all three just line items.
We're just changing monies between line items. No new money here. One is related to loop construction.
Precinct 2. That's the maintenance part, where they had to move some money around for the part-time person that they're working in there. They had to move money out of shop supplies.
Okay, taking money out of shop supplies to pay for a part-time employee. And then lastly,
Precinct 2, where he moved some money around.
between road oil, culverts, and miscellaneous. Okay. So again, all three of these are simply line item adjustments, no new money. If you'd like to see these. Motion. Anybody want to make a motion on that?
Make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fields, second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 18, sign pay orders and approve payments. Motion by Commissioner Hinton, second by Commissioner Hockaday. All in favor of paying bills, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 19, closing comments. All right, I've got a few items here. I've been over the Winfield Fire Department issue. I don't know that I have anything more to say. Any of you gentlemen have anything to say about that at this time? And I didn't mean to put you on the spot for this. I didn't expect you to have to say something. I just didn't want to pass you up if you wanted to say something. Okay. Well, we certainly hope we can figure out some way to take care of that part of the town, and I'm confident that we'll figure something out. I just don't know what it is. But I'm sorry y'all have been fighting an uphill battle over there. I appreciate you sticking with it as long as you have, and look forward to hopefully putting our heads together and figuring something out. The storage space at the annex there, the old Cadell building, is complete. Turned out very nice. Take a look at that. It is ready to start moving Leonard Rockwell's belongings from the south side of the Ratliff building into that storage area. I talked to Leonard today, told him about this, said be putting a plan together. Would like to have him out of there in about 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, hopefully we will have some bids to approve. Those bids are about ready to go to bid on that project there at the Ratliff building. So we need to get the south side moved over. I told him to let us know what kind of manpower, if any, was going to be needed. He would like to get his voting machines moved into that new area so that they could calibrate them in the new storage area rather than calibrating them and then moving them and then moving them to the ultimate voting locations there in November. So he understands that they're ready to go, and he will come back to me with a plan on that. Tomorrow, Tuesday, from 2 to 4, TxDOT Atlanta. Anyone that would like to go with myself, and I think my esteemed colleague Hudson Old's going to go with me to listen to a TxDOT long-range planning meeting held in the Atlanta office, where the state can tell us what they've got planned over the next few years, and they will listen to any input that we might have. The thing I'm most concerned about is how are we going to raise the money to pay for all the necessary road improvement, not only in our district, but statewide. And I don't know that they're going to have an answer for that, but I'm just extending. I can't see that, Judy. What is?
It says April 1st.
It
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it does.
Huh. I don't know what this is unless that was tacked on to another piece of mail that we had gotten. But no, this isn't accurate. This is not accurate. There is a meeting tomorrow. The general public is invited to come from 5 to 7, but they sent out, I guess by invitation only, I guess to elected officials, between 2 and 4 tomorrow. If any of you gentlemen would like to ride along with us and listen in on that, we'll leave about 1 o'clock tomorrow. Along that same subject, let me tell you about an interesting website that's got some really good informative material. If you want to know how transportation is going to be funded over the next few years, one of the first steps is coming up as a vote in November. TexasInfrastructureNow.org. InfrastructureTexas.org. And I have a nice brochure that I received in the mail a few weeks back, but this is a campaign that has been put together to try to educate everyone on Proposition 1, which is, as I understand it, is going to be a vote that will be taken to get our input on whether or not we would like to allocate a portion of the oil and gas taxes to roads in Texas. Badly needed infrastructure improvement statewide that is not being taken care of, and we're getting further and further behind every day. This vote would take care of only a small portion of it. Our legislators don't seem to be able to come up with any other big ideas, like adding to the gas tax is certainly one that has been considered, but good material on this website. If you would like to take a look at it, I would encourage you. You'll learn a lot, and you'll understand just how far behind we are, how much money it takes to get us back on track, and how we're going to come up with that kind of money. Proposition 1 comes up with a possible suggestion on how to take care of part of it, but it certainly doesn't solve the whole problem. Somehow, some way, we're all, as individuals, going to have to pay our fair share, whether it's through gas tax or whatever, to get our roads up to where they need to be. We've got people moving in at the rate of, 1,200 at a time, and we got to do something about it. Texas is going to continue to grow, and the projections are phenomenal. And if you've traveled the major thoroughfares, you know what I-35 is like. InfrastructureTexas.org. I think that's all I had here on my list. I'll start down here on my left. Commissioner Hockaday, do you have anything? Commissioner Hinton? Commissioner Field?
Don't have anything.
Commissioner Riddle?
No.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for your patience. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Hockaday and second by Commissioner Hinton. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good night.